Hey everybody, I'm Jen Banky. We have another episode of our TESCH Talks, and today I'm with Dave with the Center for Technology Commercialization, or the CTC, which is a part of UWM, if I'm correct on saying that.
Well, it's actually part of the whole UW system.
Awesome, cool.
And so we work with companies from across the whole state.
Very cool. So the CTC is really awesome because they help startups secure federal funding through different programs that they offer. So I just want to get an idea of what is the CTC and just share your story around that.
Sure. CTC is, as I said, part of the UW system. We're a resource for early stage tech businesses. Now our sweet spot is new technology, companies developing new technologies. Because for them, there's a lot of technical risk. You know, every business has market risk and customer risk and business execution risk. But these companies also have technical risk that makes it really hard for them to get early stage funding from investors until they move the technology along to the point where it's proven. Fortunately, we have this state or this federal program called SBIR, Small Business Innovation Research, and that provides $3.7 billion per year to small businesses. They make about 5,000 awards every year, but it's very competitive. So at CTC, what we do is we work with Wisconsin businesses to try to help them secure that funding.
That's great. And I read on your website that you guys have helped Wisconsin-based organizations secure more than $100 million.
Yes, we've been around
funding,
for a while, and that's important to get that funding. But it's really it's a two-stage process for them. It's a two-phase process. In phase one, the companies try to compete for around $150,000 or $225,000, and that's to prove the feasibility of their technology. But then they have the opportunity to compete for phase two, in which they have to provide a commercialization plan.
Okay.
But in phase two, they can get $750,000 or over $1 million. In some cases, $1.5 million from phase two, which is substantial funding.
Right, that is.
For a small company. And so that's what we do is we try to help them get the phase one awards, and then the phase two awards. And we have programs to help in both of those areas.
Can you share a little bit more about the programs and what a startup or a big entrepreneur can get out of that? Sure.
Well, first of all, we have staff, myself and two others that are scientists, engineers that have experience in small business, have experience with technology businesses, research, and especially a lot of experience with these federal grants. And we can do one-on-one consulting with any company for free, and we have training programs as well. But then beyond that, if the company is really in a position to write a proposal, the state has a small grant that hires a grant consultant to help them write their first proposal, which is very useful, especially if you've never done it before.
Right. I was going to say, they get such good advice coming into that.
Right. So we work with them, and then we have a stable of vetted service providers that can help them as well. Then another thing we do is about 3 weeks out from a major deadline. Now, there's deadlines all through the year, and there's 11 different agencies that provide it. There's a lot of nuance here, and just helping them to navigate all of that is helpful for them. But then 3 weeks out from the major deadlines, we convene a review panel that consisting of people that we hire who are experienced as reviewers for the federal agencies.
Oh, great.
And they review the draft proposals and score them just as if they would be scored by the government's review committees.
Right.
And then they provide feedback on what they can do to help make the proposal better and score better. And that's been very successful and very popular, in fact.
Yeah,
resource.
that'd be very beneficial.
And because it's 3 weeks out from the deadline, then they also have time to revise their proposal and so forth. So even companies that have been writing proposals for years and had many awards still like to do that program because it's great.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give startups before they even consider coming to do the program? Like, what should they be considering? What should they start to look at?
Well, again, the startups we're dealing with are largely doing developing new technology.
Mm-hmm.
So they usually have just sort of this single-minded focus on working on their technology.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest challenge they're going to face is, because they're developing a new technology, really the product is pretty much unknown. The
Mm-hmm.
customer's unknown.
Right.
How they're going to make money is
Right.
unknown.
Right. The whole business plan.
Yeah,
really,
the whole business
versus just the
plan, the
product.
business model. And so therefore what we recommend is that in parallel with developing their technology, they also work on their business model.
Mm-hmm.
And we use something called the business model canvas, which has become quite well known and popular now. We're some of the first ones in the state to start using that 10 years ago, but now everyone's using it. But that's what we would say: work on the business model, find the customer pain, find the areas that you can really develop value for a customer,
Mm-hmm.
and let that drive your technology development
Right.
process as well as your customer development process.
Yeah, that's good. You want to make sure that the customers are actually going to want to use the product before
Exactly.
you spend all this time and energy in building
Exactly.
the product.
Exactly. Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
right.
Well, could you share with me a story of a startup that's going through the program now?
Sure. I won't name the program, but this is two women researchers from one of the local universities who developed a new technology which is actually useful for making electrodes for lithium-ion batteries.
Oh, wow.
Now, lithium batteries are everywhere.
Right.
We've heard it. You can't carry it on your phone though because they're afraid it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
catch on fire.
Right.
With their new technology, the electrodes they make not only charge faster, but hold more charge, so your phone will last longer.
Which would be great.
But it's not prone to the same problems that cause current lithium-ion batteries
Mm-hmm.
to explode. Or to catch on fire, excuse me. But anyway, they had that development in the lab at the university, but how do you move it forward? Well, they were able to get actually a phase 1 award from 2 different agencies, the Department of Energy and the National Science Foundation, to prove out the concept. And now, just recently, they've been able to secure a phase 2 award for $750,000. And that award will allow them to actually build prototypes and start working with battery manufacturers to begin to develop it into a product that customers can use.
Right.
So without the SBIR funding, they would never been able to move the technology along that far to actually building prototypes.
Right.
They could work in the lab at the university, but building a prototype is substantially more expensive.
Right.
And then also, most of the investors in here or almost anywhere would look at a situation like that as just being too risky. There are too many unknowns at this point of funding. So even though it has a great potential for success, if it's successful, has great potential, it still has a lot of risk. Well, now they've moved along. Once they complete this phase 2, they'll be in a much better position to raise money and to build partnerships with commercial organizations and so forth.
Well, that sounds
So that's
really
just
exciting.
one example.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's another company right now that's just at the start of it's a spin out from the blood center.
Okay.
And they developed a test because some people develop fatal side effects from blood thinners, and they develop a test to be able to evaluate that very quickly.
Revolutionary.
Yeah. It's very very important. It's cool stuff, but it's also very important.
It's vital,
it has
for sure.
life-changing implications for people. So
great.
So that's what's great about our job. We get to work with dozens and dozens of new technologies every day, but help people think, wrap a business model around their technology.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that too, where there'll be, focused engineers or scientists who have this great idea. They want to develop this product because that's how they're geared and but they don't have the business acumen to do so. So that's
Right.
really cool that you guys are helping do that. So.
Yeah, and we're funded by the state, a little bit of money from the federal government, because we want to be able to provide these services to everyone, not just people who can
Right.
afford it, but everyone, everyone in the state. So if anyone in your audience who has a technology idea,
Yeah.
we're happy to just
Talk about it.
kick it around.
Cool.
Kick it
Well,
around
thank you
and
so
see if there's an
much.
opportunity for federal funding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for your time
Sure.
today to share what you guys are doing, and it's really cool to hear. If people want to get in touch with you for the program, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. Well, WisconsinSBIR.org
Okay, great.
is the easiest way.
Perfect.
WisconsinSBIR.org. All of our contact information is there. You can press a button to request a meeting or learn about all our programs.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.